When one speaks of awakening, it means dehypnotization, coming to your senses. But of course, to do that, you have to go out of your mind. When one speaks of awakening, it means dehypnotization, coming to your senses. But of course, to do that, you have to go out of your mind.
Peace and blessings, Apexx1. Today's topic, I'm gonna armor y'all. Today's topic, I'm gonna armor y'all. I'm gonna armor y'all with some of my own gifts. So this is the armor of God. Try to correct some of y'all wayward thinking and just kind of hip y'all to something that may have been going by. Getting by y'all. Today's topic is going to be on the mind reversal of the parents today, of the grown-ups today. Everyone with a child. Everyone 35, 40 and over with children. Keeping the same concepts. I'm going to try to get y'all out of the concepts and armor y'all with some thoughts. And just see if this is you. And see if you can find yourself in this. And see if somehow you can switch up, change, do something different. Alright? No oxygen to your brain is key. You have to get oxygen in your brain. Especially for those who smoke, weed, cigarettes, whatever you're doing. If you're in the house a lot, you're working all day inside of a building. No oxygen. The chemical trails that's in the atmosphere, the aluminum, the barium, and etc. This has been going on for years now, and what's happening is dimming people's mind. It's dimming people's mind, and I'm gonna show y'all how long this been going on, and something that we think is traditional, that it is traditional, something that's not supposed to be. This kind of activity is not supposed to be traditional because it's wayward. Wayward meaning backwards. So let me armor y'all. We have digital children today. The children today are digital. They're computerized. They did not grow up how you grew up. They grew up on a different technology. They grew up in a different atmosphere. And they grew up where it was a little more constructive. It was a little more other people can help you with your children, bring you your child by the ear, you know what I mean, or whatever. The reason that's gone is because today what we do, and we've been doing it forever, we live with the dead, we praise the dead, and we live for the old school. We live for what used to be, how things once were. And that's what I'm trying to armor y'all away from today. I'm going to give y'all some examples. First and foremost, how it used to be done is backwards thinking. If you find yourself complaining sometimes, I'm going to let you know if you have the sickness, if you have the wayward sickness, if the chemtrails has gotten to you, because it's not your natural thoughts. We are forward people. So I'm going to let y'all know who's the one, or you're going to let yourself know as you hear this program, this broadcast. I'm going to let y'all know, and you're going to find out yourself, have you been a victim of a slave mentality when you're supposed to be going forward? Have you been a victim of wayward thoughts, backward thoughts, when you're supposed to be moving ahead? Are you working hard with a retirement thought in your head? Is that you? Are you working hard, saying I can't wait to retire, collecting on my 401k, my pension, buy my lazy boy, sit down and do nothing? That's one of them. That's one symptom, if that's you, if you're being honest with yourself. We're growing these children up, and these children grew up on different we grew up on different technologies, Atari, this is the internet world. These children are on iPhones. They can connect to the whole planet on their cell phone right in their room with the iPhone that you bought them. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll right there. So besides school, besides you, they're teaching themselves. They're not eating right. The diets is off with these children. They're breathing the same chemtrails that you're breathing. 7 times out of 10, the average child right now today that's 15 or 16, mother is probably 32 or 35. Didn't really, mother or father is, young. So when we growing these children up, how the old folks did us, y'all have to understand what it sounds like to them. What kind of music is that? Y'all listen to that old crazy rap music, and then y'all go put on old school rap music. Okay, if you put on old school rap music, that's cool. Sometimes we have days we want to go back into the oldies but goodies, but we have lived on it, and we have raised a generation on it. We yell at our children, and in our yelling at our children, we're telling them things like the way you used to do stuff. That sounds crazy to a child. Sounds black and white while they're watching a flat screen TV. Sounds like you in the honeymooners or something, or you just, color didn't come to you yet. That's not the way I used to do it. Y'all children today just get me sick. How the fuck do y'all think the children of today supposed to live how we lived or people lived 20 and 30 years ago if they are to go forward? You're sending them off to college, which is bad. We're going to talk about that because that's your only thoughts. Who is the parent that only talks to their child about a job and an education? Get you an education so you can get a good job and get you some money. That's it. Or you got to get out of this house. Then you're sending these kids off to college campuses in debt, and it ain't even work out for you. If you're sending them from the projects or from property that you don't own and you're still paying rent, what do you want them to do? Go to college, do everything you did and be just like you? You don't have nothing. You constantly saying you don't have nothing. You constantly saying you're struggling. So why let that kid go behind you in that route? College is not what it used to be. It does not do for a person what it used to do for a person. These kids are going off into college and they're all alone in these dorms. For that first week, they're realizing that they're alone. My first night's out, they begin to use drugs. They have to use pills and stuff to take, to keep up for these classes, for things that they're going to have to burn their minds and energy for, that they're never going to have to really know again. All this to be degreed to get a job, and you're starting these children off in debt. The children are better off going to a trade school. Or because you couldn't teach these children nothing, you're sending them somewhere else to be taught. Because you just couldn't teach your own child nothing. And that's the truth. College is not what it used to be. We're doing it traditionally. Oh, go from the school. And you see how the time they have it in high school. So they went to kindergarten, first grade, all the way through elementary school, which sometimes is called middle school, junior high school, then they're grad school, then they're off to college. Never using their own mind, always being taught by someone else. And you're taking that child away from itself. Child never can think. Whole life has been tested from school on what they think so they can be degreed because the parents put it in them. This is how you make money. You have to be educated because the parent can't enlighten you, so they send you to an education. Shame on any parent who never taught their child nothing from out of their body, the knowledge of themselves, not what you send them off to school to do. Have you ever sat your child on your lap and taught them something from you so they can know that you're the teacher? Because once you're sending them to schools and you're asking these children, where's the teacher? They're pointing away to their school. That's the teacher. College is not what it used to be. It's not working for people. They're going, getting these trades, or they're not even trades. They're being educated to get certain jobs, whether it's nursing, whether it's computers, whatever it is. Our black kids, you don't hear them talk about being scientists. And I understand if you're going to college, to be a bio engineer or something, or chemist. You understand? Something like that. But they're not. It's being done by tradition, and these kids are being murdered in college. And when I say that, it's about 6 right now children that I help out, that I send money to that's in college because they can't eat. They don't have no money in college. They have to pay so much. You got to understand what books cost, even a used book. And these kids are not able to take care of themselves there. So they freelance when they get there and get into some other shit. Because the college is going to drive you kids crazy. Kids are dropping out of college. Okay? The reason they are is because you're traditionally sending them when it didn't work for you. If college didn't work for you, or your ass would own something by now. You wouldn't drive the piece of shit car you drive by now. You wouldn't have a car note, you would own it. You wouldn't have a mortgage, you would own your home. Because you went to college. You got degreed. It's supposed to work. And you're starting these kids off in debt. And that's terrible. Okay? Work, education, and you send these kids right off to school. Some of you parents just listen to oldie but goodies all day, all school, old school rap. And you criticize all the music that's going on today. Do I agree this music today is bad? Yes, I do. So I listen to what y'all hear in the background. I do think this music is bad, but you got to change with the times. And you can't be stuck in old school music only. There's nothing wrong with going back, rocking to the rhythm. Old school rap, oldies but goodies, Delphonics, whatever. You know what your parents grew up on. And the parents today still doing it. The new parents is telling the younger kids, that ain't real rap. Back in the days, it was old school music, Delphonics, dramatics, stylistics. You know, they listen to all of that. Aretha Franklin, Al Green, you know, they in the house rocking all of that. Telling y'all don't know what new music is because at that point, y'all are listening to maybe disco or something more up-tech. And now today's parents, since they're younger, right? They were younger, they grew up maybe on old school rap. They're telling their kids, this rap is no good. What is this new kind of rap y'all listening to? This Future, I can't even understand him. Or this, Jay Electronica, or this person, Nicki Minaj, or I don't even know the rappers. But all of the new rappers, the parents now is telling them that's not rap. Because they want what they're supposed to do, rewind their minds and go listen to old school music that you listen to. That's why y'all stuck on your satellite TV, old school music, and you're going backwards. And guess what? Guess what while you're going backwards? I want y'all to guess what? When you're doing this old school thing, right, and your minds is going backwards, like it really should not be. Your mind shouldn't be going backwards. But when you're doing this old school thing, you're training. You're not just doing it. You're telling somebody else their music is bad. Why you ain't listening to this? And all you're doing is going backwards in thought with that. And it's a terrible thing to go backwards in thought. You don't want to continue to go backwards in thought. It's not a good thing to go backwards in thought. Because it's just that. It's backwards in thought. So what's happening is, y'all are killing yourselves by yelling at the children and telling them, oh, that's not how I used to do it. When they're on iPhones and stuff like that, they done been all around the world that day. You telling them something about what you don't used to do. They don't eat what you used to eat. The diet was different. The younger, back in the days, we would get home-cooked meals. McDonald's was a treat. But every day, fast foods, that's all these children are getting. All you people do is listen to the same old school music and criticize other people about today's music when that's what's going on today. Life ain't going backwards, life is going forward. Stop telling people about back in the day. Oh, these kids ain't like we used to be. Oh, we used to do it like this. You're a bunch of we used to people. I get tired of these kids. They ain't like when we was growing up. Back in our days, you used to do that. Back in our days, it ain't in your days. We're in a new fucking millennium. It's 2020 we're going on. And y'all still listening to oldies but goodies. Still listening to old school rap. Guess what? Everybody you're listening to, old school, they're futuristic people. Because if you can go back 20 and 30 years and get a buzz out of something somebody said 20 and 30 years ago, then they're futuristic people and you're in the past. You're going backwards. And you're teaching these kids religion. You're getting them up, telling them to go to church on Easter Sunday. That's what y'all getting ready to do. And y'all ain't been to church all year. But you're getting ready to go to church on Easter. Get ready to traditionally dress these kids up and send them to something that you don't love or you don't study. That's done on tradition. Keep going to church like Jesus worked for you. Keep turning into a Muslim this week. I ain't eating pork like Allah's working for you. You people live with the dead. Right now, here's the dead. How many funerals do you attend? Turn down funerals. That person is dead. Meditate, think about him. That's it. Don't go around that dead. Then you're going to go and tattoo your mother's face on your body, or your dad's face on your body, or the date of their death is on your wrist or on your chest, along with another dead figure, Jesus. Yes, some of you got him on, tattooed on you, a dead person, a person they told you was nailed to a cross. Y'all honor the dead. Look around people's houses when you go into the ghettos, into our houses. Look what we do. The obituaries. We don't just collect them. We take them home and put them up next to framed pictures. Death all around you. How many obituaries you got up in your house? With a Bible open. A Bible open and obituaries all over the place. A sanctuary where whoever died, a little corner with all their pictures, rosaries, and you drive with it. I know people who put the picture of the deceased right on their dashboard. Driving with death. Y'all can't get to the future this way. You can't. Obituaries all around your house, and y'all know that. Rosary beads, unks, all up in your car, Bibles open. And a lot of y'all are working just to quit, to retire. Y'all can't wait to retire and do nothing. That's a premeditated dead thought. Think about what I'm saying. I'm arming y'all with some thoughts. This is the armor of God. Who's the God? Me. Apexx God body. Alright? So listen closely to what I'm saying to y'all. Work on some of these things. Ask yourself, is this you? Do you watch the same TV shows every day? Are you dying to get home to watch Power again? That's a program. Something is programming you to like that. So now you can't get off it. Just like you got to program, get up, stop what you're doing at night, get up, program yourself to get your slave ass up to work. Try different foods, eat something different, walk a different way. Do you get up and drive the same way every day, same route coming home, do the same thing, stop by the same little store? Try something different will happen for you. Let go and just let the day. Stop trying to figure everything out. And mainly, this is about stop trying to raise your child on what we used to do, that oldie but goodie shit. That's dead thoughts. You're in oldies but goodies, you're in dead thoughts. These kids grew up with a black president. Think. They don't know what you know. They grew up with iPhones, internet. They're like quantum. They're like way ahead of you. And don't want to hear you tell them about all of this crap. You're losing your child when you don't pay attention to your child and what they're doing today. They're growing up in a gay society. They see different things that you don't see during the day. They're cursing and hear cursing from their bus ride all the way to high school or wherever they go. The kids ain't doing nothing outside but cursing, thinking about Jordans. Women, the girls telling them, suck my dick. Boys cursing out the girls. They're in a different mind frame, and you have to know how to come to your children and find out what's going on today. Listen to a little of their music with them. Stop downing it, because every time you down their music or talk bad about them, or I ain't this, I ain't that, that's hating, man. That's hating on what has to be. It's the future. They can't live for you. They're not your children. They didn't come from you. They came through you. Stop trying to control your children. Especially if you're an oldie but goodies freak. That's where you want your mind. Every day, you want to listen to old school rap music every day. It's good. Even if you're listening to it because of the beats were better. I understand. Just don't feed it to nobody else and understand what you're doing. Understand you can't adapt. You're one of the people that said it. Man, I don't like this new music. I ain't listening to nothing. I don't like nothing they doing out here. Nothing. So you want to stay, so you reverse your mind and go back to what they used to do or what you used to do or what used to be a hit. And you gradually, slowly become sick. And death comes upon you mentally and physically. Because you have no future in you, nor do you have a thought of trying to move ahead. In God's world, you're here. You think He wants you to go back? You were here to listen to oldies but goodies music. You didn't die. God granted you life. So now you're in the 2000s. Check out what God has now. Look at what He's doing now. And if you don't like it, correct it. or at least be in tune with it. But think about what I'm saying. You're not dead for a reason. So why are you deadening your mind by going backwards and not saying thank you, God? But all you doing is ruining the future. And your Bible or whatever says children are the future. A child shall lead the way. And I only use Bible because that's what y'all know. I do not believe in no Bible. That book of magic. I do not believe in it. I deal with dates and times and doctrines that predate that. And philosophy that predates that. Have no time for things that have to do with knowledge. Anything you read is knowledge. Comes from Gnostic. It's the word knowledge, Gnostic. So I want y'all to get on that page, man. Stop driving the same route every day. Every day y'all drive the same route and you know it. Put the same little amount of gas in your car. Some of you don't like to fill up. And like I said, y'all funeral freaks. Always going to funerals. Can't turn down a funeral. Oh, that's my man. That was my homegirl. I gotta go. She's dead. That's the dead. It's not that you're going to the funeral. You're collecting obituaries. You're bringing sadness home and death into your house and you're going right and put that obituary up somewhere. And live with that dead person that's dead and you're alive, but you're going to live side by side with that dead person, physically and mentally. Physically meaning you're next to the obituary. Don't want to throw their clothes away, whoever died. You don't want to throw your mother or father clothes away. It's all around. They ain't coming back to put them on. Some of y'all got to get out of the past. That's all y'all do is get there and listen to all the old school goody music. But goody music, old school rap is cool. But you lose connection of today. And when something goes on today, you hate it because you wrapped yourself so much into yesterday like y'all do. Stop worrying about yesterday.
This morning I was discussing the joke of death. And the principal point that I was making was that death and life, or that is to say, in other words, the interval and the event, death being the interval between events, between one appearance and another of human beings, in the same way as winter is the interval between the appearance of the leaves in spring and their disappearance in the fall. But there is, you see, the chronic fear that the interval may be all that there is, that the interval may triumph, and there may be no event. And I was trying to show you that there is a polarity between the event and the interval between events, in such a way that you can no more have the one without the other than you can have the crest of the wave without the trough. And that this goes on and on and on in endless cycles, where there are small intervals making up small intervals and waves which group together and make up a set of intervals and waves, and they in themselves constitute the crest of a larger wave with a much longer trough. And then again there comes the group of intervals and waves on a short rhythm. And that this thing that goes like, you see, like this, you see, that this thing in its turn is the crest of a still greater wave. And that the nature of being is that this is the scheme of things. But the joke about it, what makes it exciting, is the constant anticipation that there might not be anything again after the interval, that it might all come to an end. And the real problem, in order to turn death into a joke, that is to say, suddenly to recover from this terrible anxiety that it might be finished, and then transmute the vibration trembling of anxiety into laughter. It is the same thing. Only the trembling of laughter is the trembling of anxiety seen from a different point of view. Now, what are the things that are obstacles to our being able to see that?
Symbols that they stole from us and put them on white people and made them superheroes and all that. I just wear them in their right form. I know about this not being an S, you know what I'm saying? This is like a pattern. The one I had on the other day was what they would call it Flash Gordon. What they would call it Flash Gordon symbol with the zigzag zig. That's the frequency of coming in when sending out electric currents. That's how they come into the universe, zigzag zig. So when I wear these joints, it's not about the comic books. I'm too old for that. It's like a porthole in extraterrestrials, bringing a lot of new technology in, right? So when you get to the poles of Antarctica, right, when you go out to the further regions, yeah, keep going straight out, man. You can literally drop off into space. You understand? Because those were the poles, north, south, east, and west. And when the Earth moves a little bit, when you think of the corners of the Earth, a lot of that breaks off. A lot of that Earth breaks off with quakes and little Richter scale earthquakes we have. A lot of that breaks off, right? Yeah, yeah. And what it does is it floats out in space. Now the planet itself is shape-shifting. All right. And as the planet shape-shifts and evolves around the sun, it's constantly moving upwards. It's going to meet back in with the broken pieces that broke off the planet. Okay. They'll tell you that civilizations like the Mayans just disappeared off the Earth. And they don't understand that. They don't understand as we have small Richter earthquakes that we don't feel. There's a lot of pieces of this planet that's breaking off. That's on the polar regions, that's on the outer cap. Yeah, that's some deep shit. And when they break off, they float out into space. Just like you can look up a Stargate now. They have a Stargate and a D-Wave computer that they're making that will hook up to that certain part of Antarctica where they know they can go through. Yeah, yeah. You imagine Stargate? Yeah. They're trying to reach through, and I got a new show coming up called Knocking on God's Door. Okay. And that's actually what that's doing. Once you, just like I taught you about different dimensions, yeah, you got thoughts waiting for you in different dimensions. Okay. The reason when you was 12, 13, 14, you wouldn't think of what you thought of when you was 20, the thought was there. Yeah. You just didn't mature into the thought. Exactly. So as we move into the fourth dimension, the planet is going upwards, and it's going to meet back with the pieces that's broken off. All right. Adding back the landmass.
When one speaks of awakening, it means dehypnotization, coming to your senses. But of course, to do that, you have to go out of your mind. When one speaks of awakening, it means dehypnotization, coming to your senses. But of course, to do that, you have to go out of your mind. That is only a way of talking. And if you can understand this, you're going to have no further problems. I once asked a group of high school children, what do you mean by a thing? And first of all, they
let y'all fade out on a little philosophy.
It's an object.
That's what I'm trying to share with y'all.
Simply another word
all the book reading and all that. Good philosophy by a great philosopher.
A smart girl from Italy.
That's all you need.
Said a thing is a noun.
Armor yourself today with everything you hear.
A noun.
Think about everything I
said.
said.
Nature, it's part of speech.
Apexx Solar
There are no
One.
nouns in the physical world.
Just listen and
there are no
feel where I be
in
at.
the physical world either. See, and only when human beings get working at things, they build buildings in straight lines and try and make out that the world isn't really wiggly. But here are we sitting in this room all built on straight lines, but each one of us is as wiggly as all get out. Now then, when you want to get control of something that wiggles, it's pretty difficult, isn't it? You try and pick up a fish in your hands, and the fish is wiggly and it slips out. What do you do to get hold of the fish? You use a net. And so the net is the basic thing we have for getting hold of the wiggly world. And so if you want to get hold of this wiggle, you've got to put a net over it. And I can number the holes in a net. So many holes up, so many holes across. And if I can number these holes, I can count exactly where each wiggle is in terms of a hole in that net.
Wiggle meaning a pattern.
Of calculus, the art of measuring the world. But in order to do that, I've got to break up the wiggle into bits. And I've got to call this a specific bit, and this the next bit of the wiggle, and this the next bit, and this the next bit of the wiggle. And so these bits are things or events. Bits of wiggles, which I mark out in order to talk about the wiggle, in order to measure it, and therefore in order to control it. But in nature, in fact, in the physical world, the wiggle isn't bitted. Like you don't get a cut-up fryer out of an egg. But you have to cut the chicken up in order to eat it. You bite it. But it doesn't come bitten. So the world doesn't come thinged. It doesn't come evented. You and I are all as much continuous with the physical universe as a wave is continuous with the ocean.
Continuous.
The ocean waves, and the universe peoples. And as the wave, I wave at you and say, you! The world is waving at me with you. And saying, hi, I'm here. But we are consciousness, the way we feel and sense our existence, being based on a myth that we are made, that we are parts, that we are things, our consciousness has been influenced so that each one of us does not feel that. We feel we have been hypnotized, literally hypnotized, by social convention into feeling and sensing that we exist only inside our skins. That we are not the original bang, but just something out on the end of it. And therefore we are scared stiff. Because my wave is going to disappear. And I'm going to die. And that would be awful. We've got a mythology going now, which as Father Maskell put it, we're nothing but something that happens between the maternity ward and the crematorium. And that's it. And therefore everybody feels unhappy and miserable. Now, this is what people really believe today. You may go to church, you may say you believe in this, that, and the other, but you don't. Even Jehovah's Witnesses, who are the most fundamentalists, they're polite when they come round and knock at the door. But if you really believed in Christianity, you'd be screaming in the streets. But nobody does. You'd be taking full-page ads in the paper every day. You'd have the most terrifying television programs. The churches would be going out of their minds if they really believe what they teach. But they don't. They think they ought to believe what they teach. They believe they should believe, but they don't believe it, because what we really believe is the fully automatic muscle. And that is our basic, plausible common sense. You are a fluke. You are a separate event.